Hello, everyone. So in this small lecture, we're going to be covering the basics of the World Wide Web and W-tree and how HTML can be viewed. There's not going to be too much Python coding in this lecture. I just want to kind of showcase a few things that are important to know as we go forward for your lab and for the assignments. So again, if you would like, you can read through a bit of the history, the history of the World Wide Web. We have a few crucial people: Doug Engelbart, Tim Berners-Lee, Robert Callaloo, and Mark Anderson, and the Kern and Netscape were institutions that were very useful with it too. There's a bunch of things to review here, and another thing that came up from this is this Uniform Resource Locator, or URLs as we refer to them. And in order to use these URLs, we have this concept of URIs, which is a string of characters used to identify a resource on the internet. Now, a URI can be classified as a locator, or referred to as a URL, L for locator, or a name, a URN, or both of them. Now, again, a few ways that we can look at it is that the URN is kind of like the name, while the URL is like your street address. And again, if we're taking a look at how these URLs are actually dissected here, we'll see that we get a protocol. In most websites, especially with the Paul's one, you'll notice that we have this HTTPS, which is hypertext, it's a protocol without the secure of the S there. Whereas if you do have the S, it will work with secure ones. So if we actually go ahead and you'll notice here that this one from before, it's no longer located here. But if you could see here, we have the lack of the S means that it's a different protocol. And again, after that, we have our host and the pathway after the host. So the host, again, is going to end with that .com.edu. This is mostly probably familiar to us. We've seen this quite a bit already, but this is just a breakdown of what it is. So why are we actually looking at this stuff here for our Python and programming courses? Well, hypertext markup language comes from this as well. And HTML gives us it gives us authors that with these URLs that we can link to, the ability to publish documents online with a bunch of headings, images, lists, photos, and so forth, retrieve information online via hypertext links, design forms, and include spreadsheets and so forth. Now again, with these primers of HTML, some of us might be familiar with HTML loading, some of us might not be. In general, HTML is this type of language that uses these brackets with tags inside of the brackets to go ahead and determine what it should look like. So this piece of code right here is actually a HTML piece of code, and what we could do here, and this is good practice for your lab that is coming up as well, is we can go ahead and inside of a program somewhere, we can make a new text document. I'm going to call this one test. I'm going to, inside of this notepad, put in a bit of information here like so. And then I'm going to save as, what I want to save it as is the all files right here. And you can see here that we have this encoding here. You could probably leave it at UTF-8 for the time being. And you'll notice that if it says test.txt, it's going to read this as a txt file. So after my name of test right here, I'm going to put in .html. And if you'll notice, I have this kind of a different link here. I have this Microsoft Edge pop up rather than this test document. You can see here that I now have a type of HTML document created that we can then reference. So again, HTML is very straightforward in this regard. I'm just using a notepad to put it together. But again, the biggest thing is that you want to save it as a HTML document rather than a TXT document. Again, how many headings do I have? Well, if I actually copy this over a few times, maybe I'll put this as heading 3 and heading 4. You'll notice that I need to correlate each of my headings that are opening with one that are closing as well. So I'll need to do something like this. And each start tag, as I referenced them earlier, is going to have an end tag. And now if I save this guy and reload my test page, you'll see that I have a bunch of hello worlds put together for us. Now again, the typical structure of the HTML document is it's going to start with a heading or a header. Well, let's look at our HTML code one more time. This is my HTML start and end bracket, and then the header is up here, and this is going to contain information. If you've ever looked at web development, or maybe have used maybe sites like Weebly or Wix, or created your own little website, you most likely saw a few of these before. If you haven't, it's not a huge deal. Usually JavaScript, if you're using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript together, there's a lot of information more in the heading. But for basic HTML, you don't need to worry about what this looks like. In general, we can parse information up here in the header, and then in the body is where we're going to have the majority of our code live, that is like text, paragraphs, and so forth. Cool. As a reminder, the head of your code is where you're going to put in the title of your documents, other features, as I referenced before, style sheets, handlers, dynamic content, and the body is where you're going to contain the information that will be displayed to everyone. I'll have different taglines here as well. There's taglines from H1 to H6. There's another file inside of the programs provided for you that is called test.html. And one more thing that I wanted to showcase here is this concept of ordered lists. So ordered lists here are a way that we can order items, and a lot of the work that you'll be doing is kind of parsing through these lists and making sure that the items are okay in them. So to actually create an ordered list, you're going to want to make sure that you're always within the bounds of your body. And what we could say here is I'm going to say open up an OL tag, and then because I'm opening one, you can close it. If you're using Visual Studio Code or a different program like Sublime, you'll notice that it should automatically do this for you. But in general, let's just try and do this manually. And inside of my ordered list, I'm going to go ahead and just type in two items here, item 1 and item 2, and let's see what happens if I do it this way. But what I'll need to do next is to actually add this in as a line item, or a list item, excuse me. So every list item that I'm going to use is going to be within the bounds of this body of li and then an end li. And you'll see here that I get the 1 right in front of it. Now, if I go ahead and I type in another li underneath this one, we'll now see that I get 1 and 2 regular like lists. Now, what about a different type of list? This is an ordered list. Another way that we can do this is an unordered list. So what we could say here is if I go ahead and take a look at my unordered list, I could go ahead and create a new list object called UL. I'll make it an end UL. And even though this is an unordered list, I'll still need to put in my list item tags to make sure that they're within the bounds. Cool. Now, an unordered list, what does that mean? It just simply gives us some dots that we could use in our code instead of the 1 and 2. Now, a few more things here are these concepts of hyperlinks and images. And to insert some images here, let's go ahead and see if we can get the cookie.png side of our files. So now if I look at my folder here, I have this image of a cookie that I can reference. And what I want to do is try to put my cookie inside of my website of my HTML that I'm creating. So how do I actually do that? Well, what I would need to do is actually create an image tag. So there's a special tag we can use here that's called the image tag. And let me put it at the very bottom of my ordered list here. I'm going to say image. And you'll see here that I have, instead of having an immediate end tag, I actually have this type of attribute. Now, this source attribute is where you're going to specify the location of the file name. Now, this is specific to images where we specify the location of the file. But you'll see here that attributes such as this source attribute exist in other tags as well. So attributes aren't just restricted to the single item there. Now we can see that I have a cookie inside of my HTML page, and we can see that it's working out a bit better. We don't need to worry about sizing or anything. This isn't a web dev course. More so, we just want to see what these tags are using. Now the last one is this type of HTML hyperlink. These links might be broken for us, so what I'll do is I'll try to grab the CDM main site here. And what we could do here is I'm going to go ahead and create a new tag that's called A. And an A tag is referenced as an anchor tag. And what this will do is it's going to link us to another document. And now you can point to any resource on the web, including other HTML pages, images, sound files, movies, and etc. using this anchor tag. And the text for creating an anchor looks like this here. So what I'm going to do is inside of my HTML underneath or above my cookie, I'm going to go ahead and type in an A. And then for my anchor tag, I'll say href, and then I'm going to put in the URL that I want it to go to. Now, because I didn't end this one just yet, what I'll do is I'm going to put a /a here. And now if I actually try to run my code here, something might happen. We'll notice that I'm not seeing anything pop up for my anchor tag. So where does it exist? What you actually need to do is put in a piece of text here. Maybe something like click here. And we'll see now that my image is kind of on it. So what I'll do right here is I'm going to actually just believe, does that comment out the code? No, I'm going to go ahead and delete this super quick. That's the Python comment out. And we can see here that I have this click here. And if I click on it, it is going to take me to the HTML reference page that works. Now, again, you don't need to worry too much about like it opening up in a new tab or anything like that just yet. Those are all attributes that would work. But the main idea here is that we not only can link to URLs using hrefs, but we can also link to other HTML pages into our pages. There's also this option where we can use an anchor tag to create links that send email messages. So there's an ahref here to go ahead and reference this concept of making HTML pages work with each other. What I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new HTML page called test2. I'm going to copy the majority of the code that I have from the original test here. And what I'll say is I'll call this a test2 page. And inside of my body, I'm just going to make a single header that says this is the new HTML page. And I'm going to close this guy off here. And now if I go ahead and I save this, save as, again, we don't want to save it as a txt, we want to save it as a .html page. And there we go, we have this guy over here. Now what I'm going to do is inside of my test code, I'm going to say, oops, daisy. If you'll notice here, this code isn't working or it doesn't reference the other one that I have. So you can right click on your HTML page and go to open with Notepad, and that should give you the HTML code for you. I'm going to go ahead and go to page 2. And what I want to link to isn't a URL. I want to link to test2.html. And let's try to save this. And let's open up our test page. We'll see now that I have another URL. Let me add in a line break here so it looks a little bit better on our end. Oops. Oh, I think I overrode my code. One sec. Sorry, everyone. So I'm going to add in a little line break. And the way that you do a line break is by using the br command. What I'll do here is underneath my line break, instead of going to this URL, I'm going to go to test2.html. And then I'm going to say inside of here, click here to go to test2. Now, if I reload my test page, we'll see that it's underneath it. And if I click on this, we see that this is the new HTML page. So again, everyone, this lecture is really about this HTML, and you'll see in the next one that we're delving into this URL lib and looking at HTML code. But please experiment a little bit with this code. What I really want you to understand is how these tags work, how these different tags have attributes. And the reason we need to know that is because we're going to be seeing these tags in Python, and you're going to need to understand what each of them do and how they operate for our later labs.